Hi guys, my name is Mayana. Welcome back to Maya Core. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of 3 of my Halloween recommendations. Today I'm going to be recommending you some vampire books. It's a little close. Okay, so let's just get into the video. So the first book I have is A Dowry of Blood. I love this book. I have the original cover. I know a lot of people don't like the newer hardcover, but I love all the covers, to be honest, and I want all of them, but whatever. So yes, I have A Dowry of Blood, and this book is, I mean, it's a really popular book. Like, everyone knows about this book, but if you were like me, I just didn't think I would like this book, because the book is about this girl who was writing letters to Dracula. That was her man, right? Her man, who was Dracula. He was a vampire. They were in a poly relationship, but also the relationship was very abusive. And so when everyone talks about this book, I'm like, I don't want to read that sad shit. The book was so good. Okay. It was sad, yes, but also just the study of relationships and the signs of being in a toxic relationship, or just being in love with someone whilst also being in a really bad relationship, and confronting them and telling them how you felt, and getting your own closure, even if it wasn't real closure. But also the poly relationship, come on now, I love me a poly relationship. If you are a girl who loves poly, I think you would still really enjoy this book. There's so much to this book, more than the poly relationship, but that is something that made me want to read it, because I knew that it was going to be sad. It wasn't really sad though. It was I personally liked it. There's this little novella that she wrote that was very smutty, that personally I loved. I think this book does really well, because this book is for everyone, people who don't really like smutty relationships, and people who want to read about toxic, not want to read about toxic relationships, but people who want to read about that kind of stuff. And then you have the smutty books for the bitches like me. Okay. And then I have Woman Eating, which is about a girl who's a vampire. She's half vampire, half human, but she also is half Asian, half white. And I really love that exploration. And it's just about her sensation for food, even though she's a vampire and she can't eat food. And ugh, if you're someone who loves food, loves food, trying new foods, the thought of foods, eating foods, just you're a foodie, I think you would really appreciate this book, because it's about the character and her relationship with food, even though she's a vampire and she can't, girl, you can't eat that. I have Fangs, which is about a relationship between a vampire and a werewolf, and I personally really like this book. It's very short, it's very cute. It's a graphic novel. I wished it was in novel form, but I actually think I think it works better in graphic novel form. And like I said, it's just so sweet and it's so cute, and it's about because usually in stories it's usually, oh, you either date the vampire or you date the werewolf, but it's never it's never a person dating a vampire or a vampire dating a werewolf, it's never those two mixtures together. It's always some other creature dating a vampire, or a human dating a werewolf, or a werewolf dating a werewolf. It's never vampire and werewolf. And I just thought it was so cool, and it was their differences, and I just thought it was so cool. And then we have a book on the smuttier side, and that is Court of the Vampire Queen. This is actually 3 novels in one, so it looks very huge, but it's 3 novels. They're all 100 pages. You can read this whole series in one night. It's about this girl whose father is selling her off to this vampire king, and it's basically to fuck him over because they have beef. But then she actually ends up falling in love with him, and then his friends end up coming to visit, and you can put 2 and 2 together. Oh, and then another romance that I want to recommend is My Roommate is a Vampire. I read this book in July, I think. It's out now. It came out in August. I love this book. I gave this 5 stars. It's one of my favorite romances that I've read this year, which isn't saying a lot because I haven't read that many romances in the second half of the year. But this book is about this girl who is looking for somewhere to live. She finds this ad on Craigslist for this guy who's renting his apartment in Chicago out for $200. She's like, this seems like I will get myself killed, but you know what, it's worth the risk. So she decides, fuck it, I'm gonna apply to this place. She does, And then you have the guy who's a roommate. His name is like Frederick. It's like not a sexy name whatsoever. Like I think I understand what the author was doing, but at the same time, his name is not sexy at all. And it's about this guy who's a vampire who was trapped in a tomb for like 2,000 years. So he's accumulating to modern times and he has no idea how things work. And like sometimes it'll show his like Google search and it'll be like, it's just so funny because it's like normal human things, but he'll Google it. It's like he doesn't understand normal human things. Like there's one time she like took him to the coffee store and he had to like order his own coffee and he just didn't know like what to do. And I just thought it was so funny and so cute, and they were just so charming and it was sweet. And then we have the Pallbearers Club, which a lot of people don't really like this book. Personally, I thought it was very fun. It's about this guy who thinks that his friend was a vampire and he wrote this novel basically about how he thinks she's a vampire and you don't know if it's true or not. And then she's also reading it, so you're reading her annotations and like he'll like say she did something and she'll be like, no, that's not fucking true. And it's so funny because you don't know, like according to him it's true, but according to her she's like, you're a liar. And it's like, who do you believe? And also, I don't know why it's called the Pallbearers Club, because they didn't Pallbearers Club nothing. But whatever. I just thought this book was so fun. It's very short. I listened to the audiobook while I was playing The Sims and it just like was so fun. And I just read it during spooky season and it was just like, I don't know, it was the best. It was great. And I think that the annotations are so cool, and when you read the audiobook I think it reads it at the perfect time. And it's just so funny, like in the annotations, like he says interview the vampire and she's like, you're such a dork. And but it's like, it's in the audiobook it's read at the perfect timing, because I think if you read the like annotations too soon it'll like, I don't know, it's just so funny. Like in this one she goes, he says he talks about this route that takes him to the main character's room and she underlines it and she's like, why are you always creeping? And I just think that's so funny because it just feels like me when I annotate my favorite book. But I just think this book is fun and it's cute. And lastly I have Southern's Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This is like the vampire books of all vampire books. This book is about these Southern moms in the 90s who have this book club. Their husbands don't take them serious. They're just housewives. No one really appreciates them. No one really takes them serious. And suddenly this hot guy in the neighborhood comes in and everyone's so fond of him. He's joining the book club and everyone loves him. And then the husbands, like at first they're a little jealous, but then even they start to love them. And then the main character is like, there's something off about this guy. And it's like very like slowly creepy, like there's slow creepy stuff that starts to happen. It's something very off about him and you really don't know. Obviously you know what it is because like the fucking title, but like, let's pretend and you don't know what it is. It's about this main character, like after convincing everyone he was a nice dude, she convinces him like, hey, this is a vampire. And then the husbands don't want to believe them, so they have to take matters into their own hands. And the social commentary that Grady Hendrix does is so amazing. I love social commentary in like my media, my books, my movies, my TV shows. I love when it's like very subtle. And I just think that the social there's so many social commentaries in this book and I love all of them. And also he has an author's note in the beginning of the book, which I personally think you should read. This is coming from someone who does not read author's notes. I was listening to the audiobook and it just gives you, and I love that he put it in the beginning of the book because he talks about how he wrote this book based off his mom and how he saw her like growing up and how people treated like women in the 90s. And I just have such a such a respect for him for that. And it's like I wasn't really I don't know, it's like just read the author's note, okay? But yeah, it was so much fun. I love this book. Stay tuned for part 3. I'm so excited. I say this, I've been saying this all month or for a month long, but I'm so excited for my 2020 I'm so excited for my October videos because I just have so much planned, and I have a lot of vlogs planned. I don't have a lot of sit down videos planned, so which I think is good because I can just like pick up a camera and vlog. So like, I have a lot of vlogs planned. So yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned for the rest of the month. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.